All right, happy Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, coinaholics of all ages. Welcome to another edition of the Pocket Change Market Report, this time for April 24th, 2021. This month has blown by as quick as you could say whatever word that comes out of my mouth next. Yeah, I know that does make sense. But yeah, it's been flying by. The market still has continued a very strong trend line, even though probably maybe we're not seeing like some huge spikes from certain aspects of the error and variety market. We're just seeing just overall strong sales across the board with no particular end in sight. It's not like that we're seeing vast, drastic price dips on any sort of one particular type of error or variety, so that's good news. So I would say game on, continue to do what you do. For those of you that actually are out there punching the pavement, hitting the pavement, going to the banks, getting boxes of coins, religiously going through them, looking for some of these big hit coins. Or if you're the type that likes to, check out the coin shop scene or the local show or the regional show, that's also another great way to help supplement not only your income, but also your coin collection. So we have a really deep list, ladies and gentlemen. Kind of a little prelude of what we're going to see a week from today, where I had promised a few folks that we are going to do a huge 50 coin lineup of just, everything that I could find. Probably that'll, encompass an entire week worth of eBay sales. Next week is going to be a lot of fun. So, and I'm sure the video will be insane too, probably 45 minutes to an hour, give or take. We'll see. But we have 29 absolutely amazing coins to talk about this week. A lot of great stuff, stuff that you can find pretty easily. With enough searching, you just keep grinding hard at it. Good things will happen. All right, that's why I normally tell myself every day, and sure enough, good things really do happen in the coin market. As always, we're going to chronicle the top kind of notable, very interesting sales from the last 24 to 48 hours. All of the images are raw, right direct from the eBay sellers listings. So we're not doing a tremendous type of modifications to these images. They are exactly as you see them if you were to go into the completed sales portion of the eBay list and taking a look at all the realized sales that's on there. In addition, none of the coins are graded. However, I do have one exception this week, and it's going to be the final coin on the list. And it's kind of a wake-up call for a lot of roll hunters, especially the $50 folks, that this particular coin is worth its weight in gold. So you're going to have to pay close attention to the final coin. It's actually the number 29 coin. We have the 29 coins to talk about today. But generally with the PCMR, you're not going to see any graded coins. The real big idea is you're going to find these coins, you're going to elect to either keep them or sell them, and just do a quick flip. You're going to take as best images as you can. Usually you'll want to do a complete obverse and reverse picture along with close-ups of the anomaly. It's not too hard, and there's a lot of tools out there at your disposal that'll help you take some of the more clearer photos in addition to some of the close-ups, which a lot of people have issues with just because of focusing on a device, or maybe the lighting's a little off. But you're going to see some of the coins on here, and the reason why they're on the list is they've done a decent job at hitting all of those particular requirements when it comes to prepping your coin for the sale. That's important, because if you could take clear photos and you could show close-ups of an error or variety, people are going to take notice. All right, other collectors. So I figure let's go ahead and jump into the first listing this week, and this is a cautionary tale for all you silver bugs out there, that there are errors to be found on your scrap silver. So this is just your run-of-the-mill high mintage 1921 Morgan dollar, all right? And I don't know how many times these have been passed up either in your existing stack or when you're hunting through silver dollar bins or buckets at the coin dealer or show. These coins, man, they get overlooked quite often. But these coins have a current market value of what, 25, 26 bucks the way it sits. But this one right here has a really nice lamination on the cheek that generally, like I would say, would deter most folks from actually paying attention to something like that, because at first glance it looks either minor or it looks like damage. But being able to identify exactly what a minor lamination or planchet flaw is on these silver coins, and it's not just Morgan dollars. I see them all the time on Washington quarters and dimes and you name it. They're all over the place. But this is relatively minor. So let's say, for argument's sake, you bought this coin for 25 bucks. This is a really nice, easy flip for $60. As a matter of fact, this coin sold for $59.99. The pictures are just fantastic, and they show exactly the anomaly that you're looking for. So this is a really nice profit right here. Net-wise, you've essentially doubled up your money, and that's a good feeling. So make sure you look through your silver stack, because I guarantee you there's going to be coins in there. It doesn't matter the condition either. A lot of the coins are generally well circulated or cleaned, all right? So if you want to double, triple, quadruple up your money or your scrap silver value or your intrinsic value of that coin, definitely look after some of these, not only errors, but varieties. There's both to be found on there. Nice sale. The next coin that we have here, it's going to be the very first off-center struck coin. Of course, this is a Lincoln Memorial cent. We don't know what the date is, though. Not saying that that's a huge issue, but I think when it comes to collectability and future appreciation of such errors, being able to read a date on these off-center struck coins is quite important. And it's going to be proven to be even more equally important when you go to resell these in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whenever you're ready to liquidate your collection. This particular coin is off-center struck by about 65%, by a pretty good margin. The coin is in pretty decent shape. And this one sold for $16.75. All right, so for all of you Lincoln cent hunters, these do exist out there. The coin, again, at first glance, doesn't look like anything fancy, right? I mean, it looks like a very well-circulated 1961 Lincoln Memorial. However, this one also has a little bit of a lamination. You can actually see it right here on his chin. Again, a coin based off wholly on circulation. This thing was overlooked and passed over probably several thousand times. I mean, the coin is 60 years old, believe it or not. But this one right here sold for $12.45. Can you imagine making 1,245 times face value on something like this? And you can just be cognizant of what a lamination error is, because these coins command 10 to 20 bucks a pop, and they're going to continue to do so until the market just says, yeah, we're done with feeding a lot of money into coins. But this is really cool. If you could follow the trail of the lamination, you can see it goes all the way back here. You can see some of the wrinkling and almost see a little bit of the strip that goes all the way across. It's just this piece right here delaminated and fallen off. Pretty cool sale, $12.45. Okay, so this is going to be one of those listings that's going to probably raise the ire of a lot of purist collectors. Now, how do you have a 1966 Lincoln Memorial cent that has essentially had a retained lamination but had fallen off, and you had not just one, but you had two pieces that had fallen off? How is this possible, Mr. Sean? Well, to be absolutely honest, it's not. All right, not without a little bit of help. Usually with laminations, you want to keep it all retained on the coin. I think the kind of like the hot topic with this coin is that there are two absolutely clean pulled off pieces of the lamination that had come off the host coin with a partial date, and just, I mean, it's a well executed job. Me personally, I'm not sure I would do this. Again, to any purist error collector, they don't want to see stuff like this. But however, just the overall execution, the images are second to none on this, by the way. The seller did a really good job of just, staging everything for one image. And, there is a reverse image of this as well. So you got the reverse of the coin, and you also have the reverse portions of these two delaminated pieces here, along with the reverse of the date, which is what you would normally expect when you have the back end of that piece on there. So the lamination was on there. It's really hard to say how attached to the coin it was at that given time. But, it kind of worked out. And, I'll just let this next graphic speak for itself. So this is a screenshot off of a website called 130point.com. So if you have some of those listings that have sold on eBay where a best offer was accepted, as you guys know, it's only going to show as a sale. It's going to be in green as far as the dollar value with a slash, but it doesn't really give you any other information other than that. All right, so this coin was an attempted sale twice. The first time around, an offer was accepted on February 18th for $455. And yes, you did read that right. This seller was looking for $1,000 at the time that the sale went on. And it continued on. So somehow, some way, this listing unwound. Either it was a return or it was a canceled transaction. The next time around, someone had submitted a offer of $300 and the seller accepted. So this coin is not relisted. It seems to be a solid final done deal with this new buyer at $300, which is, for lack of a better word, unprecedented for something like this, where lamination was pulled off of the coin. Again, when you have 3 total pieces, this is not something that is coincidental. Like, the pieces don't just fall off and you still have them. Usually these are lost forever. But this is a very interesting sale with a lot of potential future ramifications. And again, I am not telling people to do this sort of thing to their coins. Actually, I dissuade a lot of people from actually doing so because in a way it is kind of like damage. So yeah, this is a very interesting sale. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this particular sale. I know a vast majority of you will probably think, yeah, that shouldn't even happen, as far as pulling off the pieces. But, with all that being said, $300 is a very ambitious amount of money for this 3-piece delamination set. All right, the next coin that we have here is a 1984 Washington Quarter. The coin in itself is in pretty good shape. Just based off of images alone, it's a lower mint state grade coin, maybe like a mint state 62. But this one, as you can see, has a right good sized curved clip here that goes right over the motto, "In God We Trust." And you can see it on the reverse, along with some of the Blakesley effects, some flattening of this general area of the coin. This one sold and a best offer was accepted off of $24.99, probably like $10-15 is what was offered and accepted for this coin. All right, so this is a coin that comes up quite often in the conversation of interesting errors. All right, so we have a 1943 Lincoln Steel cent. How do we know it's a 43? Well, it's real simple, silly guys. It's the steel composition, zinc-coated steel, and there's only one type. So this one right here obviously is missing a number in the date. And it's real simple. That's just simply a clogged die or a strike through of some grease and debris of that particular device on there. And it's interesting, right? The coin in itself is in horrible shape. I mean, this thing was circulated, and God knows what else it was subjected to. But because of that particular anomaly where you have a digit of the date missing, it sold for $9.50. So there you go. That's another area of opportunity for a lot of you. to cash in on little minor details and errors like this. 1971D Lincoln Memorial Cent. This is a good-looking coin with, if you paid some attention and you were able to get in close on the devices of this coin, you would notice something quite particular about it. First of all, the coin is a nice mid-state red. We'll just get that out of the way. It does have a few carbon spots. That's the least of it. Before I get to the next slide, you'll see that there is a little bit of a strike through right here above his head. But really, what we have is a nice die clash that's right here. And it appears that a Mint employee was trying to polish that off, and they didn't quite get all of it. You can actually see the polish lines that are quite heavy in certain areas of the fields of the coin, but they didn't get all of the clash. Kind of a haphazard job in my estimation. But this is referred to as a Lincoln jail cent or prisoner cent because you have these bars from the Lincoln Memorial that is prominent on here, which gives it the appearance that Lincoln is in prison with those bars. This one right here sold for $11.94. There's it looks like a lot of the clashing on the reverse was polished away as well. All right, so we got a cool Lincoln Memorial cent. Believe it or not, you can't really tell, but this one was identified by the seller as being a 1983 Lincoln. And this one, real simple, was struck through a late stage die cap. So it's an ultra thin die cap. And that's why you're able, I think the pictures, they're just not doing this one that great of justice. But with a late stage die cap, you're able to see some of the actual die details that have gone through that late stage thin cap, where you could see like Liberty, the motto, sometimes the date. This one right here is sold for $35, which is a pretty nice sale for a coin like this. And these are found in change and coin rolls on a weekly basis. So these are out there. Make sure you know what you're looking for. All right, so this is one of my favorite National Park Quarters in the 10 years that it's been out. It's a 2015 P Homestead Quarter. This is the Nebraska version, which got a lot of headlines back 6 years ago when it was released because there was a lot of attributed doubled dies. There was a lot of die chipping on the reverse of this coin. You could just continue to go on down the list. There is a good solid probably 100 or so different types of errors and varieties that you could find on this particular date of coin. To keep in mind, these are only on the Philadelphia struck coins. And if we look close, this one has that doubled top curl of the pump handle that goes into the window panes. I forgot what the attributed number for this one is, but this one did sell for $6. Not bad for a nice circulated find. So we have a really clean 1995 Lincoln Memorial cent. Of course, this coin right here is synonymous with just a headline back in 95 that was all over the news and newspapers as being a coin you wanted to find. Keep in mind that these doubled die obverse FS101 95 Lincolns were all over the place. I mean, who would have thought? People at first thought that it was a true rarity, and as a result, there were lots of coins being sold on the secondary market back then, 26 years ago, for like $300 to $500. There were coin dealers that were looking to buy these for $150 to $200 a piece right out of circulation in 1995. So it was a huge deal. I remember this like it was yesterday. A lot of people were just going crazy at the bank. It's kind of like the modern day version of the coin shortage, I guess, is what we went through in 2020, if you could call it that. We had a Lincoln cent shortage back in 95 for certain areas. There are people who are still able to get these, of course, back then. But yeah, the searching frenzy was strong. Of course, you got the really robust doubling on Liberty and on this one in the motto. I mean, you can't really mistake this. But with all other coins, I always recommend if you don't have one yet, grab yourself a nice inexpensive magnifier. They can be at for under $10. I do have some down below in my description box. There are Amazon links. I do get a portion of each sale, but if you don't have one, that's an important tool if you're going to be successful at this whole cherry picking gig, because without it, you can't really see these varieties all that well. This one right here sold for a really clean $45, and with its grade, I'm sure it'll grade relatively high, maybe at 66. But where the real money is, of course, is in like Mint State 69 red, which is tough. It's tougher than it sounds. Just a really good looking coin here. 1990 Lincoln Memorial Cent. This one right here is a nice broad struck error example with all sorts of like stretched out copper plating, and that's why you see a lot of exposed zinc core in this one, which worries the crap out of me if I was living in a spot where there's a lot of humidity, because with moisture that does eat at the inner core of these coins. So if you did buy something like this, obviously you want to store it in a nice dry place. But this is just a really cool example. It's probably about the shape of a nickel at this point. These are produced without the aid of a collar that keeps the coin in to their original actual size and shape, just the tolerance of the coin size. So without a collar, the metal flow has to go somewhere. This one right here is sold for $9.99. We'll just call it $10. Not bad. Here's a 1987D. This one is an off-center struck coin by about 55% per the seller description. And the seller did say that there was a wheel mark on here. I don't see anything. It might be this right here. So this coin was probably processed through a sorting machine of some point, and it got stuck, and there was a little damage on there, but I don't see where it's at, really. But this is a really nice off-center struck coin with a full date. Again, it's important to collect these with a full date. If you have one that you're looking to sell, pictures tell the whole story. This one is a really nice Mint State example, and it's sold for $21. So that's a pretty solid sale for this coin. A lot of your more valuable off-center struck coins with a full date usually occur in the 70s, 60s, 50s, the older generation, older dates. All right, so this one caught me off guard. All right, it's a 1960D. It's a large date. All right, so this is a large date type. Lincoln Memorial Cent. Outside of that, man, there's no RPM that I could see. It's just a decent lower to mid-state grade. But if you looked really closely and you use that magnifier like I had mentioned, all right, it's got a cracked skull. So it's got an interior die break, or a crack is what we call it. These are attributed on sites like Cuds on Coins, so you can probably look on there and see what this one is. But how about this for sale? $26. All right. I mean, it is an unusual, very niche type of collectible. People do spiked head collecting, just the different progressions. People like to collect by cracked skulls, is what these are affectionately referred to. And if people haven't seen one that they haven't seen before, or it's unattributed, they will pay a good deal of money just to own it into their collection. And usually they'll go ahead and submit it to the main attributors, like Mike Diamond or whoever oversees those particular attributions on Cuds on Coins. All right, just so they can get their name on something. But this is a really cool find, and $26 is a very, very good, strong amount of money for a coin like this. Otherwise, it would just be overlooked. So this one's really cool. So we have a really nice no-date, high-grade. We have come to the conclusion that this one is indeed a copper-coated zinc coin. You can just see the zinc core right here along the edge of this cut die break. But that's a huge piece of the die that had broken off and fallen off. And this is what it looks like on the coin. If you have a void on that die, it's going to come out to be a void on the coin on not only the obverse, okay, which is where you have the main break, is the obverse hammer die, but on the reverse as well, you're going to have nothing there. So you want to make sure they match up for legitimacy's sake. But this one, ladies and gentlemen, sold after 9 strong bids $118.25. That's real money that exists out there in change today. 1996 P Roosevelt Dime, which looks like it's been circulated for a good while, but this is a really good catch by the seller. We have a coin here that is off center by about 5-7%. I mean, it's nothing extravagant, but this is a really cool coin that is an obvious error, and again, it's been overlooked and used on a number of occasions. This one right here is sold, and a best offer was accepted off of $21.50. Really good sale. Congrats to the seller. We have another Cud die break, this time on a 1982, and I would guess that this is probably a Philadelphia struck example. We don't see too many Denvers with Cud die breaks. They're just a much more maintenance heavy, type of facility than the Philadelphia Mint. The Philadelphia Mint, by the way, cranks out so many coins, and they crank out so many different other coins than the Denver Mint that quality control issues like this do show up on occasion. But this nice Cud die break right here at the base of Jefferson's bust, along covering whatever mint mark existed there. It's either a P or a D. The coin is in relatively quite circulated shape. It's evident on the reverse. There's no steps left on Monticello. So, yeah, pretty crazy. This one, through 7 bids total, sold for $93.23, which is a particularly strong sale on a coin of this size of Cud, which I would say is on the small to medium side. It's nothing like extravagant. Plus, the coin condition in itself is not quite the most desirable, but again, all of the value is in that error. All right, so this one is really neat for the mere fact that you have just enough of a mint mark that you know that this is a 69D. All right, you can barely see that little D mint mark right there, but this is a Lincoln Memorial that was struck off center by about 70%, which is quite stunning. Visually appealing. The coin is in really nice shape. It's a nice red-brown type piece. This one right here is sold for $28. Fantastic money for this coin. And it's a little bit tougher date. So we haven't talked about a good off-center struck statehood quarter in quite a bit. Probably about a month. But here you go. We have a New Hampshire. And I believe this is 2000, if I'm not mistaken. This is the old man of the mountain reverse coin. 2000 P New Hampshire State Quarter. This one is off center by about 35%. What's really cool about statehood quarters is that you can identify exactly what the date is, even if it doesn't show up on the coin. So obviously there's no mintage date on this, but we do know based off of the design on the reverse that it is indeed a 2000 New Hampshire, just based on that alone, and you have a full mint mark. I mean, that helps a lot. Based off of those two, particular pieces of information, all right, that still makes this a very desirable coin. This example sold for $25. Really nice sale. All right, well, here's another coin that, based off condition, you know that this thing was being spent quite a lot. It's a 1944 Lincoln Wheat Cent. This one has a really tremendous lamination, retained. You even got a little bit of a fold over action right here. So the piece did flip up and fold over at one point. It's a nice solid brown all around, probably more in the VF35 range of grade. This one right here is a really, really nice pick by the seller, and it did sell for $19.44. I would say, and I'm pretty guilty of this, I have probably thrown back a lot of these coins. Back in my early days of hunting, particularly in the early 2000s when I was going through just absolute droves of wheat cents. Now, I'd find stuff like this. They weren't just interesting. They were a hard sell on the secondary market at the time, and I ended up throwing them back. Laminations are a lot more appreciated today, especially in this market. But as you can see, this is nearly 2,000 times face. I mean, why would you not pull this out and, flip it, and make a good little chunk of money off of it? All right, another off-center struck error, 1994 Lincoln Memorial Cent. This one is off-center by about 20-25%. You have a full date. You do know it's a Philadelphia. And, of course, it's another Zinkin. So make sure that if you are a buyer of stuff like this or a seller, that, number one, you take good pictures and that these are preserved in a nice dry spot. This example sold for $12. 1966, clad Washington Quarter with a nice little clip there at the 6 o'clock position on the coin with some Blakesley effect. Again, another coin to keep an eye out on. This one is actually in particularly nice condition. Nice mint state grade, probably pulled out at the time of release. It's really hard to say. This one sold for $6.75. Again, rim clips for the longest time were relatively minor. You were lucky to get $1 off a lot of these more modern coins. My apologies for the bad out of focus images, but what these are full rolls, full bank rolls of 2021D. These are Denver minted Roosevelt dimes. So we had a seller that was selling these in quantity. So for every roll purchased, it was $15.75. So this is a recorded sale on one of these brand new rolls of 2021 Denver Roosevelt dimes. There's some money to be made here if you want to do this. I think net-wise, you'll make about $5 per roll. All right, give or take. All right, so we have another recorded sale of a 1964 D Kennedy half dollar. Again, this is our infamous guy, our seller, that continues to sell these without a full obverse and reverse picture. And I think he's sold maybe 4 or 5 of them in the last month or two, which is quite remarkable, actually. But we do have some really pretty close-ups of In God We Trust. And this is actually a quadruple die obverse. It's the FS105, and it's also QDO005. But yeah, this is a tremendous-looking example. You could see just a quadrupling of all of the letters in the motto. And then this is also a marker that you would find on this particular variety. So that's a little bit of a die scraper gouge right there between the N and I in United. This one sold for $61.50 after a number of bids. Another coin to keep an eye out on. This one is not fancy, but again, this is a coin based off of appearance alone that people have thrown back, or they've spent it on a cup of coffee or something. 1944, which, by the way, it's a very common date for lamination peel errors. So this 1944 Lincoln Wheat Cent has a delaminated piece that has been struck through onto a coin, and it's even folded. You can actually see the fold action of the piece that was on the planchet previous to the strike, which is cool. I love seeing stuff like this. This particular piece sold for $23.24, which is, again, a strong amount of money based off of the condition of this coin. Another lamination, this time on some scrap silver junk, 1942S Mercury Dime. Has a nice delamination right here over the last 3 letters of Liberty. Pretty cool. Yeah, what's this coin silver value-wise? $2.25 or whatever it is. This one sold for $23.24. Let's just call it 10 times silver melt. I mean, why would you not want to, sell these independently and, put pride aside? How about sell this and then buy 4 90% half dollars? I mean, that's a pretty good flip, right? 1974 Jefferson Nickel with a nice sized curved clip right over the word Liberty right here. Nice higher grade condition coin. It's got, there's a few carbon spots on there. A best offer was accepted for under $13.50. So this one probably sold for like $8 to $10. Oh yeah, we got another $25 bank box of pennies. Now this is a random mix. Okay, this is not like a BU box of 2021s or something like that. So this is just regular circulated coins. Maybe there's some BU nicer shields in there. Yeah, the market's still good on these. Sold for $74.95. I believe this was the same seller that's continuously pumping these out in the marketplace for people that are Desperate enough to pay nearly 3 times face value, but for those of you that want to sell, you're not going to make a whole lot of money. You'll probably net out after fees and shipping, probably 20, 25 bucks on a good day. But that's what we're looking at here for this one. All right, so this is a flipper's dream right here. We had one seller sell 9 off-center struck coins in a lot. And this is again, when I say a flipper's dream, we're talking about a lot of coins that could be purchased and then resold to the tune of 15 to 20 bucks a piece. So by doing just regular math alone, you could make easily 40, 50% more over what this sold for. The 9 coins in total, and they're all in great shape too. Nothing says like beater or corroded or anything like that. This one right here is sold for $87.89. So you could possibly get close to making 2x your money off of something like this if you sold each one of these coins all on their own listing. And then finally, the one coin that I kind of hemmed and hawed about adding onto the list, but it's important. This is a graded coin, obviously, a 1972D Kennedy half dollar. Check out the grade. PCGS Mid-State 62. No FG initials reverse. It's also a Cherry Picker's Guide variety, FS901. Now, the reason why I'm telling you guys to look at the grade is this is truly a coin pulled from circulation. Otherwise, if it was a BU coin, in hindsight, it is kind of like a BU coin because it is mid-state. But if you were looking at like a coin pulled out of a mid-set, those traditionally would be like mid-state 64 to 66 on average. So this one right here, just a nice pull out of half-dollar rolls, I can imagine. But the no FG initials reverse of this coin is quite uncommon. They just don't pop up everywhere, much like the 82, 83, where those are quite frequent out there. But and in circulated grades, those coins go for $5-10 bucks all day long. But this one right here, the 72D, is a little bit tougher. And there's the area where the FG initials would normally be. This one is completely missing, so those were over abraded on there, so it's over polished. It was taken right off. But boy, oh boy, the amount of money that this coin commanded cannot be ignored. For a coin that was pulled out of a box of half dollars, $1,502.95 is what this one sold for, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're continuously just going for the easy, low-hanging fruit stuff like silver out of these boxes, and you're overlooking coins like this, the 72D, missing initials reverse, the 1977D doubled die obverse, which by the way is one of the most toughest doubled dies to find in the Kennedy half dollar series. If you guys are overlooking these and they're in great shape, you're really doing yourself a disservice, because this is like a huge amount of money that is continuously just getting pushed aside in lieu of $5-6 silver coins. And good luck with that. How's that working out for you? Silver is not as readily available because of the demand of the physical metal out in the secondary market. But I digress just a little bit, and that's going to go ahead and do it. You guys can go back to your searching activities, and I wish you guys the best for your weekend. I'm your host, Sean, with BlueRidgeSilverhound. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that good old bell. Would love to hear your thoughts. What was your favorite coin from this week? It's just fantastic. We had a fantastic week, but we got a bigger one next week to the tune of 50 coins. And that's going to be a viewer request that I'm going to be very happy to deliver on. It'll take me a while. It's going to be a long video, but you guys are going to love it because we've had quite a bit of good positive feedback for that particular show. But that's going to go ahead and do it. You guys take care. Happy hunting. And as always, Coinaholics, we are discovering together every single day. You guys take care, and I'll see you on the next coin video. So long.